Are we live yet? Yeah, I think we're live. Hey guys, this is Tate. I never can get my intro right. It's Tate Plays. To find me, you have to type in Gamers Garage, GAMERZ Garage, GARAGE. Um, Now I'm going to be joined by SP tonight,
Hey guys.
and I'm going to daisy chain my theory on how and why the Mandela effect is possible. And after that, I'm going to let SP tear down my theory altogether.
I'm ready.
All
I'm
right.
ready, willing, and able.
Okie dokie. Okay. Now, this theory involves many things: the Mandela effect, simulacrum Earths, that's Earths that are similar but different due to causality. It involves the Akashic field theory and CERN. Okay. Now, we know let's start off at the very beginning. Let's explain the Akashic field. All right. The brain puts out waves, alpha, beta waves, and I believe it's possible of receiving waves. Now, what I believe the Akashic field is a field that is native to our planet that links all of our consciousness into this wealth of knowledge from past, present, and future.
Now, again, Brother Tate, I need to state that you believe that the Akashic field is planet wide, while I believe that it is a force that permeates the entire universe. I believe all living sentient creatures are connected through this Akashic field, uh,
Yep.
and they are connected through, you could possibly call it thought transmission, shared consciousness. There's a lot of different words that could describe what I believe the Akashic field to be, but I believe that all life forms are connected through this Akashic field, and you believe it's simply planet wide from place to place.
Yep. Each planet has its own Akashic field.
Mm-hmm.
Now, the way that I see it is, what is the brain itself? It is a 15-watt uh, potato clock.
Bioelectric. Well, it's a 15-watt bioelectrical processor. Um,
Yeah, I call it a potato clock because the potato clock puts out about the same wattage.
um, well, when it comes to watts, I think you might be getting your volts and your watts a little confused there, brother.
It may
Um,
be because I think a potato clock is more similar to a 9 volt.
yeah, a watt is a whole different thing than a volt. But other than that, here's some things about the brain that are interesting to
Hmm.
mention and discover. Um, the brain, of course, does function off of 15 watts of electrical bioelectrical power. It produces brain waves. It also functions at a particular megahertz. Brain waves are at 733 megahertz. That's what the brain functions at. You'll notice that if you look at radios or radio equipment, what is the one frequency that is often never found? That is the 733 megahertz signal. You'll barely see any electronic devices that use 733 megahertz. I believe it is a band frequency on radio stations. You'll notice that in phones and even communicative devices, you automatically skip from somewhere around 433 megahertz right to a gigahertz because they don't even want to mess with that area of frequency because it can cause people headaches. It can cause people to have seizures. Um, you won't see a lot of electronics that function at 733 megahertz. It's almost a banned taboo frequency, brother, because of this. Um, the
Hmm.
brain does function off of 15 watts of bioelectricity. As a matter of fact, a lot of people don't realize this, but the human brain actually processes and sends electrical signals to your heart. With each pump that your heart does, your brain is defibrillating your heart and keeping it beating. Um,
Hmm.
I could go on and on about this topic, but I don't want to flood the conversation with all kinds of boring facts. Continue on, Brother Tate.
Well, this bioelectric, I believe this is the consciousness or the soul of the humans.
Yeah.
The entirety of the human soul, consciousness,
Well,
sentience.
as you know, that whole area is a topic that I'm going to avoid it, and I'm saving that particularly for a video that I'm working on later, and I'm not even going to touch that with a 10-foot pole right now.
All right. But yeah, I do believe that the electricity within the brain is what creates the consciousness, the way the brain fires, that sends signals, it sends sensations, that creates emotions, that creates opinions, ideas, thoughts.
Yeah,
Um, now, okay, you are very, very aware of the theory of relativity.
of course.
E equals mc squared, which basically, when you get to it, means that anything that exceeds the speed of light turns from matter into energy.
To be completely accurate, E equals mc squared translates through quantum calculus to energy is equal to mass times the speed of light within the vacuum of space. But basically, to break it down into terms, energy and mass are the same thing. When you look around your bedroom, at your computer, at any physical object, well, that object began its journey as energy that passed through the Higgs field to become mass.
Yep. Now, if you send it fast enough, I believe it actually pings the Higgs field to turn it back into energy, and that's why it turns to energy. Why it no longer can sustain its potential to be mass.
I feel that from my perspective, that when energy exceeds the speed of light, because we do know that when energy exceeds the speed of light, this is why mankind has a problem uh, achieving faster than light speeds. It's not that we don't possess the understanding or even the technology. When mass is accelerated past the speed of light, it turns back into energy.
Yep.
The physical matter breaks down and it breaks down into energy. And I feel that the reason that this is friction from the Higgs field. I feel that
Yep.
the Higgs field permeates the entire universe, and when you're actually traveling at speeds that are, you know,
Yeah, it pings
around,
the Higgs
yeah.
field.
Well, you can call it pings if you want to.
Yeah.
I mean, that would be sort of accurate, but I mean, a ping kind of indicates that it kind of skips or touches. No, I feel the Higgs field permeates everything in the universe, and when this friction reaches that kind of velocity between mass and energy, that the mass breaks back down into energy because of the friction between the Higgs field and that that object of mass.
Well, to state it more to, I guess you're liking, instead of pings, it would be collides with the Higgs field.
No, here's the way that
No?
I look at it. No, imagine if you will that you have a piece of chalk, right? And you're sliding this
Yeah.
piece of chalk. You're sliding this piece of chalk across, say, a cement, sidewalk or something, right? Well, if you're
Well,
just
the chalk is colliding
right,
with the sidewalk.
right. Well, if you're just lightly holding it and just rubbing it ever so lightly, that's normal entropy, right?
Oh,
Okay.
yeah.
But let's say when as it approaches the speed of light, you have accelerated the entropic process to the point to where, let's say you're rubbing that chalk really fast and scrubbing it, right? Well, it speeds up the entropy. Do you see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And it breaks it down faster. So as you approach the speed of light, entropy is actually accelerated to a point that the mass, you could really go into a form, entropy causes it to decay back into energy because of the friction between the Higgs field and the mass.
Okay. Well, now that we got that out of the way, um, I believe that the only thing that would be able to travel faster than light for a human would be their consciousness, the bioelectric.
Well, I would like to throw this in. There are some forces in the universe that we are aware of that do function faster than light. First, I would like to bring up the spooky particle effect that was in Einstein's original special theory of relativity. If you
Yeah.
split an atom, its nucleus from its electrons, if you split them, you could separate them any distance. Theoretically, you could separate them from one end of the universe to the other, and when you move or alter the
When you
electrons,
interact with one
yes,
atom, then it was
yes, Yes. The other one on the other end will be affected, and there's no distance limit between that. That is faster than light.
Yeah. That's
If you
called
could,
quantum entanglement.
if you can, because gravity, of course, believe it or not, is faster than light. The effects of gravity.
Yeah.
I will give you an example of how gravity can be faster than light. We could use the ideology of a wormhole, but that's so cliche. Anyone that ever whips out the nerd books automatically mentions wormhole. Let's talk about folding one point in space to another point in space, right?
Yeah.
Well, with enough gravity, if you could actually cause a gravitational wave to fold space-time,
Yeah.
you could literally bring an object or a part of space to you quicker than the speed of light by using gravity to fold space-time. You could do this quicker than the speed of light. Yes.
Yeah, but what you're doing there is you're actually breaking laws and ripping holes in the universe.
Well, you have to understand, are you really breaking a law when you're doing something that you've proven can be done in a laboratory? That's like saying you're using voodoo magic or something, when in reality it's scientific understanding that needs to be corrected.
Mm.
When we say that we break the laws of physics,
Yeah.
are we really doing something impossible, or are we doing something that is completely possible? It just breaks current understanding.
Well, I would say current understanding and current, what would you say? I
Well,
would
I
say
think
the
what
current model of the understanding that we have of the universe right now. Because if you go poking holes in any container, it's not going to hold the original content.
well, that depends on what's inside, doesn't it? Think about this. If you've got a giant rock inside of a wooden box and you poke a hole in that box, that rock's not going to leak out.
The box would deteriorate because the stuff surrounding the rock is
I'm just saying, when it comes to
has a
physics, you
weaker
have to, yeah,
component.
you have to consider such possibilities. It really does depend on what's inside if it's going to leak out.
Well, see, we don't know what's inside though at current moment.
No, and I would like to say, the actual when you do split an atom from the fission process, dangerous radiation is released. When you go to poking holes to, other places, using these scientific exploits, or these special fields, as I like to call them, how do we know we're not going to release some form of radiation that is so deadly it just wipes out all existence?
It's a very good possibility. Well, okay, back to the consciousness being energy and energy being able to travel faster than light.
Yeah,
Now, we've explained the Akashic field, which is a field of consciousness from future, past, and present that surrounds each individual planet, I believe.
yeah.
Now, what I believe is our old Earth may have had some type of catastrophe, and they CERN, which specializes in speeding things up to the speed of light
Yeah,
or close to, has tried to save half of the old planet, if not more,
yeah.
by interjecting our consciousness into another planet that, due to causality, is very similar but not quite the same.
You're talking about something asymmetrical.
Yes, it's not exactly the same. It's a flawed copy.
Well,
Now,
that really does beg the question: which copy is the flawed copy? If you have two
yeah,
constants, which is the original? I
yeah,
mean, you've got to consider, like, if there's a parallel to us, which one is the actual copy? That's like saying, just because we're here right now, that we're proclaiming to be the first. I would call that Christopher Columbus theory, because we consider ourselves number one in the, and how
well,
do we know?
I think we came here, so we would be the
I mean, from our perspective, we're the ones learning, so we have to
yeah.
consider ourselves as number one. But I'm just saying, if you want to get philosophical on it for a second, which
I'm
came
not
first?
saying number one. I'm saying that we are different from
Well, yeah, but
the
well,
original
I mean,
consciousness.
what I'm saying though is, how can you call the other version flawed when we don't know which version is superior
I
or
just used it to put out the fact that there is differences.
yeah,
I
yeah,
didn't mean it as a generalization as the whole planet is flawed. I mean it as what we know
yeah.
to have been fact is flawed here.
You could kind of look at that as twin syndrome, and I want to go ahead and say this, and I know that a lot of people probably wouldn't say it this way, but let's say that you've got a set of twins and they're nearly identical. And even though they're nearly identical in almost every way, there will be slight personality differences. And from the outside, everyone always wants to look and be like, well, that twin's just slightly more attractive than the other one, you know.
Yeah.
So I mean, where's the master copy? Here's the thought that you have. If they're a copy, right? How do we know that we're not a copy? And how do we know that we aren't both copies of some,
Yeah. Well, see, that's the
original
thing.
somewhere?
That's the thing that gets me is if you can interject half of a populace into the Akashic field of another planet and have them take root in the human consciousness, as far as like you remember the old show Quantum Leap,
Of course.
where Scott Bakula's consciousness would enter a body, and then from there on, Scott Bakula would say, "Hey, this feels like my body, but it's not my body." He would look in the
Well,
mirror.
I mean, the thing about that is nobody remembers him as Scott Bakula. He was Sam.
Yeah, but you see what I'm saying, though.
Yeah.
All right, now I believe that is what has happened to us.
Here's the way that I tend to look at that. You want to look at it as there's copies and parallels, which of course that is perfectly valid. But what I'm saying is, why are we limiting ourselves to one object and then a parallel? Causality almost dictates, man, that given an infinite amount of time,
Oh
uh,
yeah,
and yeah, an infinite possibility.
yeah.
You also have to consider this, brother, homie. Um, if time truly
I know what you're
is,
getting at.
you know, yeah,
It's already in my model.
if time truly is a Mobius effect, non-linear, as some scientists predict, a repetitive process, we have lived this same life. We have lived our same day-to-day routines endlessly throughout the eons for
Yeah.
an infinity of time. Um,
Well,
given
why
an
don't you
infinite,
get back to track?
yeah, given an infinite universe with an infinite possibility, causality dictates that all things are possible.
Yeah, and see, I believe there may be other Earths that are like us, but primates did not take the lead in the apex predator. Instead, it may have been canine, and that's how you get sightings of werewolves and all this and that.
Well, I mean, I would also like to throw this down, multiverse theory, which is something we haven't touched on quite enough here. Um,
Yeah.
multiverse theory is this, thusly dictated from the Big Bang. All right, multiverse theory stimulates like this: the original Big Bang.
Hmm.
Okay, our universe may just be a small fraction of the explosion from the Big Bang. And when the true Big Bang event occurred, it didn't just create our universe, it created an infinite number of other universes as well. And our universe may just be a bubble or a ripple from that explosion. And there may be countless other universes out there.
Yeah. String theory kind of uses a model like that too.
Well, I will be fair. I really study my relativity and my science. I don't tend to acknowledge string theory. You know.
I know, but it uses kind of the similar thing, but it allows for the fact of that one universe could cross over into another
Well, here's
and
the
then
thing
back
about
out.
that. I think we may have had this discussion. When we look out into the universe, we can see at 94 billion light years away, we can see the gamma wall, which is
Yeah.
basically the edge of our bubble. Uh, you
Yep.
know, and but what is more interesting than that? We have found more recently, for some reason, about 28,000 light years away from our Milky Way galaxy, we have found detections of another signature of gamma radiation that does not match the gamma radiation from our own gamma wall. It's a
Yep.
different signature of gamma. It is believed that another universal bubble may be colliding or interacting with our own and causing distortions about 28,000 light years away from Earth.
Yep. Yep. Okay. Now, what I'm saying about these
Well,
simulacrum or similar Earths, or
yeah. Well,
divergent Earths.
yeah. I mean, but before I lose
Uh,
topic, because um, I did want to throw this in with that. If there is another universe interacting with our own universe and causing distortions, you have to consider that life from those other universes could use those distortions to cross between from one universe to another.
yeah. Well, they could do that here if they use CERN
Right.
in the proper way. But yeah.
Well,
Okay.
I'm just saying, how do we know that in each given universe, how do we know that some form of life isn't from a completely different universe altogether?
Well, that's very possible. Now, it's also possible. This is my current theory that there's many. I mean, more than two, more than four, maybe more than 10, could be close to 100 different Earths with divergent timelines and divergent, uh,
Well, I
I
mean,
guess you would say, due to causality.
exactly. You're right on track with that. I
Yeah,
was just about to mention that. You
yep,
definitely want to call that causality. A
yep,
timeline split would be called a causality. Yeah,
yep.
effect.
It's the temporal causality. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Now, what I believe is in each Earth, it's different than ours. Well, have you ever watched that old TV show, the science fiction show, Sliders?
Yes, I saw Sliders. Now I've got to be fair about Sliders. I thought Sliders was kind of a generic ripoff of Quantum Leap, and I
Yeah.
kind of had a lot of hate for that show.
It used multiverse theory though, but I I don't believe it's multiverse theory. I believe that we have the planets within our universe that are parallels or divergent from, and when whatever happened to the old Earth happened, we found the most similar one to
Well,
ours
I
and
would like to go.
interjected our
You know,
consciousness to it.
I would like to go ahead and throw this into you. Um, I totally believe in and buy multiverse theory. I've studied quantum mechanics. I've studied quantum calculus. It's called Q calculus. Um, I buy the multiverse theory. Dark energy is another reason. I think I spent a lot of time explaining that the other day.
Yeah,
I believe dark energy is the force that is in between universes, causing expansion, um, which separates one bubble from another.
yeah,
But your theory about multiple Earths in the same universe is also very valid. And I want to bring this up because one thing that we can learn a lot from is by studying nature.
yeah,
Nature can teach people a lot. Well, when you look out into nature, you see repetition gone wild. Um,
hmm
you can travel from one state to another, but an apple tree is an apple tree, brother. You know,
Well, hell, if you look even on a genetic level, there's repetition gone wild.
I mean,
Dogs and
I'd
bananas
also,
share the same amount of DNA, a small amount, but they share a same amount, a small
yeah,
fraction of
you
the
know,
same
um,
DNA.
and I want to bring this up. NASA is currently cataloging Earth-like planets. You
Yep,
look out into space, and you see these other planets, and you see these other stars. One thing I can guarantee you, there will be slight differences from star to star, but they're all round. That a lot of
yep,
them have planets that are all round, all orbiting around them.
yep.
There will be slight differences, but there will be many things in
Okay.
common. Repetition within nature. So if there is an Earth, which of course we know that there is, you're in it, I'm in it. Here we are. We know we're
Yep.
standing and living on Earth. there's a good chance there's another one out there because nature is that repetitive.
Here's the thing that's really the kicker of my theory, though. I watched a video by a guy on YouTube. I ain't gonna lie, this is not my original thing. I found it out through YouTube. I don't remember the guy's name, or I would give him credit wholeheartedly. I'm sorry for not remembering your name. But he brought up the fact that he had found old Earth.
I think you showed me
Yeah,
that video. I remember watching it.
yeah,
It was a very interesting video. I wish I could remember his name, but
yeah.
I will say this about that guy: he makes really nice videos.
Yeah, he had very valid points to it. Now,
Mhm.
where our old Earth was is at the end of the Sagittarius arm of our galaxy. Now, where they say that our current Earth is in the Orion arm of our galaxy.
Mhm.
Now, I know Earth is free floating through outer space, but I don't think that we can take Earth and pilot it like a ship over to the Orion galaxy.
Right.
You know, now I could be wrong on many different levels, but how in the hell did we get from the end of the Sagittarius arm over to about the middle of the Orion arm?
Well, of course, brother. I'm not going to say that it's impossible. I will say that I'm not completely sold on the theory that we were transplanted and moved. But if the Mandela effect holds true, that me and you've been studying collectively, and you've really been burning the midnight oil on this. Um,
Oh man, I've got over 20 pages
yeah,
with like 15 or 5 to 10 different things on each page, man.
if the Mandela effect holds true, from what I understand about the Mandela effect, now for just a second, I want to leave CERN out. We can bring CERN right back in, but I just want to explain the methodology of the Mandela effect and what people believe to be transpiring. This is why I had to mention multiverse theory earlier, because this is terribly important, brother. You can't really truly fully grasp the Mandela effect without multiverse theory, Holmes. Um, what the Mandela effect supposedly is that multiple universes, and in Tate's case, he believes multiple Earths or parallel Earths, which is fine. His theory is just as valid as mine. You know, um, I tend to believe it's entire universes. He believes it's simply planet wide, which is it's fine. It's just a matter of opinion. You
Yeah.
know, um, but what it's believed that the Mandela effect is that whether it's due, for whatever reason, whether it's just bubbles colliding, if our universe was a bubble and another universe was another bubble, and those two bubbles collided, unlike the movies or what you're led to believe, those two universes aren't going to destroy one another. Instead, just
They
like
would
bubbles,
merge.
yes, just like bubbles within water, they merge and make one bigger universe. You
Yep,
know,
I've thought about that too.
so here's the thing about that. The Mandela effect is believed to be the changes that transpire when one universe collides with another universe, and the information from the parallel, because we were speaking of parallels, because in this other universe, there may be another you, another, just a parallel
Version
universe.
of you.
Yeah, a parallel
Yeah.
universe may very well support a parallel you. You see what I'm saying? So when these bubbles merge, the life and experiences all merge together. And that's why some things seem to change. And it's called the Mandela effect.
Yep. It's kind of like I hate to do this
Well,
because it's
it would be like those slight differences from one parallel to another, since they merge into one entity,
yep.
it causes an altered perception.
Have you seen the newest Terminator movie?
No, here's the thing about the Terminator movies. When they made that one Terminator movie that was all about the future guy, I had really
Yeah.
high hopes for that, and it just didn't live up to my expectations. And so, no, no,
Yeah.
after that, I never watched any
Well,
more of them.
you need to give the newest one a shot because it's got a very interesting plot twist.
Really?
Uh, yeah. Well, the guy. this is spoilers for anybody out there. The guy gets sent back in time to stop Skynet from activating, right?
I mean, and in fairness, I want to bring this up about that movie. Wasn't that the whole point of the very first movie? I mean, what's up with that?
Yeah. Well, they were not successful the last three, four movies, but they did it again. They
So,
sent him back.
is it safe to say that the plot of the next movie will be the same damn thing?
Yeah, except for this one has a twist.
Okay.
You see, this guy has two timelines that he remembers.
Hmm.
One timeline where he did stop Skynet, and another timeline where he didn't because
So,
he was born before Skynet activated.
so if he remembers both timelines, which timeline's accurate?
Exactly. Through the whole movie, he has trouble distinguishing the two. Okay.
So, yeah, he's basically got Mandela effect going on hardcore.
Yeah, because in one timeline, Skynet never activated. In another one, it did. You know. So, yeah, man, it's got a plot twist. It's worth a watch. I'm not going to say the actors were exactly up to par for the roles because I didn't like the actors that played the roles. But
I mean,
yeah,
I think we brought this up before, but I want to bring this point up because I believe a great many of our listeners are probably well aware of Mr.
oh
Rogers'
yeah,
Neighborhood. You know, here's an example of the Mandela effect. And feel free, because if you guys are listening to this, clearly you're on the internet in some fashion. Feel free to
hmm
look this up. Do you guys remember Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood? He had the song that he'd open up every show. It's a beautiful day in the neighborhood, a beautiful day for a neighbor. You guys have heard this song, right? Okay,
would you
go look.
mind? Could you be
Yeah,
my neighbor?
exactly. Won't you be my neighbor? And here's the thing about that, okay, guys? Go look it up and you will see that the actual song as it stands right now on the internet, as far back as you look, you can find old videos from the 60s. The song is
Hmm.
It's a Beautiful Day in This Neighborhood. And I don't ever remember it being a beautiful day in this neighborhood, but he stresses the this.
Well, do
And
you?
I'm just saying, as I recall the song, I used to sing it as a child, you
Yeah.
know, and he actually didn't even say the neighborhood. He said
Do
the.
you? Do you remember Snow White?
Yeah,
You remember Mirror, Mirror on the Wall, who is the fairest of them all?
which is absolutely what she said.
Yeah, you know what it is now?
I think you told me yesterday, but that's already slipped past. Run it by me again, brother.
Magic Mirror on the Wall, who's the fairest of them all?
See, no, no, no. She never said it was never called a magic mirror, I don't think, was it?
It was at one point, but it wasn't at that point.
Strange.
Yeah. Well, that's just like Star Wars, man. The iconic line, Luke, I am your father.
Oh my gosh. You're
Yeah.
not going to say that's changed, right? It'd be like, Luke,
Yeah.
I am your uncle once removed on your mother's side.
Yeah.
You know,
Instead of I am your father, it's no, I'm your father. Instead of Luke,
huh.
I am your father.
I I don't never remember him saying, no, I am your father. Because I remember clearly I watched
Exactly.
it as a child. I remember the
Hell, I did
scene,
too
man.
multiple
Well, I
times.
mean, I'm just saying that's Star Wars. I remember every second of that movie. He held his hands up in or one of his hands up in the air. It was almost like a
Yeah.
Shakespearean moment. He had the fingers curled, the like he was grasping that skull from the Shakespeare's play. Luke, I am your father. You know,
Yeah, exactly. It was
I,
one of the iconic lines.
yeah, and I remember every second of it. And now you're saying it's like, no, I'm your father. I mean,
Yeah.
give the Mandela effect, a few more months, and it'll be something. It'll be something. It'll be something like, Luke, I won't pay your child support, and you go to look it up.
Man, there's another theory that I'm starting to wholeheartedly cling to. You know, the holographic universe or the Matrix
Well, see,
theory.
I was trying my best, man. I was like trying to sledgehammer the holographic universe idea in, but you just, you wouldn't give me that. Mm. So
Yeah, but
now I
you
know
know
why.
the
It was because you.
holographic
Now
universe.
I know why. It was because you already had the holographic universe thing ready to go.
Yeah, I had it before I talked to you the other day, bro.
Not fair. Not fair. I'm an expert in that field.
But I believe if this theory is correct, whoever came up with it, maybe the person who's programming us just really sucks at fucking spelling and grammar.
Oh, you're talking about all the different spellings, man. You know,
Yeah.
um, I was raised in a family. My mom, she went to college.
Yeah.
Education was very important to my family growing up. And here's the thing with that. I would actually, when I would come home from school, if she caught me doing my homework, if I misspelled words, she'd give me a little smack on the wrist. And it wasn't no like severe, crazy, cruel punishment. It was just like a form of slow electrical shock. She'd grab my wrist, two fingers, like whap. Now, how do you spell that word? You know, my
Hmm.
mom was very into education. So I've got to be fair. I never, ever, ever in my life was ever to get away with spelling words the way that some of these kids do today, like love Luv. If I was to spell love Luv, my mom might disown me.
Oh shit, my mom would disown me, dude. I'm from the South where literally they would take rulers and smack your hands.
You know, So, I mean, spelling and grammar were very important things for me when I was growing up. And it's not that I chose for them to be important. My mother just always implied to me, being well spoken, it's not so much the intellect of the idea behind how well spoken you are, it's how just basically how well spoken you can be. Proper syntax, proper grammar, um, very, very important things to present yourself in a well spoken manner.
Well, if you look at it, okay, um, even, and I hate to bring up this comparison,
Apples and oranges.
but no, this won't be apples or oranges.
Darn it, I'm hungry.
But even Hitler,
Ugh.
yeah, which was one of the worst people in the friggin' world.
I mean, yes, look, here's the thing about
Yeah,
Hitler, and I don't want to go off on a rant here, but I wouldn't unless I really did want to go off on a rant. So I'm just covering
yeah,
for myself at this point. But here's the thing about Hitler. Hitler was a terrible man. He was a horrible, awful man, and he
exactly.
caused a genocide. And here's the thing. Here's the thing. I do understand the importance of history, right? Those who don't remember their history are
Hmm.
doomed to repeat their mistakes. But Hitler was so terrible of a person that I just wish he would be erased from history. He doesn't
Well,
deserve to.
he
He
might
doesn't.
be one
You
day.
know, he doesn't deserve to be remembered at all. He just deserves to be forgotten completely as somebody of zero importance. But
Yep.
I do fully understand why it is important to remember, because there were many people that suffered at his hands and they deserve to be remembered. I get that and I understand that. You know,
Yep.
Hitler was so terrible. He doesn't deserve to be remembered. He's a horrible piece of
But
garbage. Hitler was.
here's the point I was going to make with that man. He
Okay.
had a bad message. He had evil intent. He was a man, I don't know of his IQ personally, but to me, he seems to have been a very ignorant man. And
Here's the thing I'd like to bring up about that. Hold on to your point, and I would like to bring this up.
it'll be gone before yeah, it's
Go
gone.
ahead and make your point because my point won't be gone. I'll hold on to mine then.
Okay, dokie. Well, like you were saying, whoever, give me a second. I'm half asleep, guys. I've been up all night. Uh, like you were saying, if you are well spoken, it does not matter the idea behind the speech.
Right.
All that matters is that you're capable of bringing it across intelligently to where somebody thinks that it's a good idea.
It's like when you go to the store to buy a new item. The item, so it is what's important. But if you'll notice how, like, what is the difference between some items that are generic and some items that are premium? Is usually just the packaging is fancier. Well, presentation works very much in that same way. The way you package your idea and
Yeah.
deliver it to others. I do want to say this
You,
about it. I do want to say this about Hitler. Um, Hitler had this thing, and I don't want to talk about his ideologies. I don't like Hitler. I don't like what Hitler did, what Hitler was, or his message. I do
I
know
don't
what Hitler,
agree on any of
Hitler's message was
that.
basically ignorance. Here's what I want to say. I don't
Well,
want to
no,
even, well, I mean, here's the thing. Here's the thing. Here's
he
the thing.
killed everybody. Everybody.
Well, here's the thing about Hitler, dude. If you do know his basic message that he was presenting,
Yeah.
Hitler's basic message was basically racism and ignorance.
Yep.
And he, you know, and but here's the thing. As me and you said here, we're talking. This is just one person to another. And as they're listening, well, those are many people,
Yeah.
just listening to this small group. Here's the thing that I would like to point out. It's very hard to fool a single individual. A single individual alone or out by himself can be intelligent, but when you get a group of people together in large swaths, when you get a group of people together in large crowds, right?
Hmm.
It's for some reason, it's the irony of it. It's much easier to fool a large group of people than it is a single individual. And Hitler relied heavily on portraying his message of ignorance and racism to the
Hmm.
masses. And
Yeah.
um,
I like to use the saying stupidity is not harmful by itself, but in a crowd it becomes dangerous.
well, here's the thing. Here's the thing.
Yeah.
Stupidity, by my belief, now I'm not talking about people who have mental disadvantages or mental handicaps. I'm talking about the kind of guy
I'm
that,
talking about sheer ignorance.
yes, sheer ignorance is always harmful.
Yeah, sheer ignorance in a mass group of
Crowds,
people.
crowds, or even a singular person. Ignorance is ignorance. Let me define ignorance and break down what ignorance is. Look at the word ignorance. Now, let's put some word plays for the root words on it. Ignorance. Ignorance. To ignore knowledge,
Yep.
specifically knowing better, to ignore the wisdom and knowledge. Okay? To ignore proper wisdom. Ignorance. Right?
If
So when you willingly deny knowledge and wisdom in favor of
Mhm.
disregarding that wisdom, that
Yep.
it is ignorant.
Well, see, that's the thing that kills me about the whole race thing. A lot of people are ignorant to the fact of we are made differently, but we are the same species.
Well, see,
We are still Homo sapien, human.
the very definition of the term ignorance denotes that the person knows better but chooses.
Exactly.
You
They
know,
choose not to
right?
realize
So, in
that
cases where a
people.
person, yeah, in cases where a person truly doesn't know better, well, you can just call that, lack of education. If they truly didn't know better. But you can only use the term ignorance if the person knows better
Yeah.
and chooses to ignore that wisdom.
But SP, if you look at the world today, man,
Hmm.
there's cell phones that are so smart you could run a freaking UAV module in outer space with them.
Oh my gosh. Let me tell you what about smartphones and why I don't like smartphones. And I don't mean to go off on a tangent here. No, look. Let's be fair. Let's be fair.
Yeah.
Everybody's been in relationships, in several relationships, man. The first generation of smartphones that came out, I believe I had what was a LG Axis back then.
Yeah.
You know, I got my smartphone just as, you know, I was one of those people. I was like, oh my gosh, they call it an Android. I've got to have this. You know, so I was like the first in line, you know, and I got this LG Axis. Back then, they had a feature that if you had that feature turned on, whenever you said someone's name, it would automatically just call that person. You know, so there were
Yeah,
many
I remember that.
there were many times when I was arguing with my at the time girlfriend, and I would bring up her mother's name in an argument, and the next thing you know, she's in my pocket listening to my argument with her daughter. It was horrible. Oh man, I took a hammer to that smartphone, and I legitimately did. I you know, because you know that's the last thing you want is your own electronic devices to turn against you and rat you out. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but you can't deny outside looking in on that situation now where you're at. That is fucking funny, man.
Yeah, it is. It is. It's hilarious now. But you know, that phone's not coming back. That phone's not coming back to the grave, brother.
Say you did horrible things to it, it will never be the same.
No, that wasn't even a joke. I legitimately took a hammer to it. Like I bashed that. I bashed it into pieces, brother.
I want to show you something on the bond or the on the Nelson Mandela effect and the reason why I do believe CERN was included in it.
Okay, white chat window, brother. White chat window.
White chat window.
Yeah, Hangouts
Why?
window.
Why? Oh, what are you talking about?
The talking window where I texted you. I didn't want to go into specific detail.
I'm going to screen share this.
I know. I'm trying to get a message to you, homie.
Oh, I told you to get prepared, but go ahead. Go ahead. Go ahead.
All right.
Okay. Sorry, guys. That's D. He needed our SP. He needed a break for a minute. I'm gonna rip this image, bring it up, and make it a little clearer to where you guys can see this perfectly fine. All right. Now you'll have to give me a minute. Do. Where is my print screen? We're going old school with this bitch. Yeah, guys, I am damn near out of things to say. I am sorry, audience. I am so far asleep right now.
But I'm back, so it's good.
Okay. I got something I want to show you, man.
I'm here.
That will blow your mind. You can look on the screen right there, but I'm making an image right now.
Okay.
Like
now,
cutting it down and zooming it up.
Yeah, of course. You know I missed. What is the point you're making here on this?
I haven't made the point exactly yet, but this is the connection between CERN and what's going on.
Okay.
All right. Now I'm cutting this the still of the image here, and save as JPEG. We're gonna call it Mandela. All right. Now, can you see that on the screen there, D, or is it big enough?
No, well, I mean, I can't read what's on the little paper she's written, but I can see the bound one and the Mandela sign that she's wearing.
That's Bond 1, as in James Bond 1. What was?
Oh my gosh, that looked like a U from here. No, I can't see it.
What was James Bond number 1's name?
007.
His real name for the actor was Nelson.
Was it?
It was Nelson.
Oh my gosh.
Nelson Mandela, right there. From CERN.
How do you know that's from CERN? I just want to be fair here.
Look at the title. It is the music video of all the people at CERN dancing to I'm Happy. It's from within CERN.
That's amazing. My resolution's terrible, man. I couldn't see that, but now that you pointed it out, I can understand what it says.
Now, give me a
That's
second. I'll bring up a blown up one.
that's amazing.
Yeah, this is where everybody is getting
So this
the
is basically
idea from.
the actual CERN people are like basically saying the Mandela effect's a real thing, and we're doing it.
They're not denying it.
Well, you know, of course, you do know that I frequent a group of science forums, man, where I've actually spoken to a few CERN members, and I've got to be fair. The people there that I've spoken to that claim to work at CERN have never once mentioned the Mandela effect as any kind of real event. They kind of laugh and snicker about it.
Okay. Give me just a second. And I'm zooming in on the picture.
You know, I'm just saying they don't give any credence to the whole Mandela deal. The guys
All right.
I've spoken to.
Well, this is in a video from CERN.
I mean, yeah.
Okay. You see the video, the same video.
Yeah, but you can zoom in.
Yeah. Because I edited or I chopped it down and put it through.
See, that totally looked like bound. You know, it's probably where I'm half asleep and the resolution was pitiful from my end.
Can you see it now? Bond 1 Mandela.
Nelson Mandela.
Right up here at top.
We are happy at CERN. Nelson Mandela.
Nelson Mandela.
Oh my gosh. That is amazing.
Yeah. I mean,
are you sure? Are you sure that that isn't just some sort of like in joke or a nod to the people that want to make the accusations about CERN? Because the guys that I've spoken to, it was only two of them. Because in those science forums, there's only two guys there that actually do the same forums. They kind of snicker and giggle about the whole Mandela effect ideology.
I know I'm going to get copyright struck for showing you this.
Oh, I've seen this before. That's the 3D imaging. Oh, that's not the 3D one, is it?
No. You can see them right there at the Hadron Collider.
Okay, well, now I just see them dancing.
You don't see the background?
What background? I mean, of course they're at the Large Hadron Collider, but I mean, I've seen the Large Hadron Collider.
You see the person traveling through the Hadron Collider?
Oh, now come on, that was a special effect, homie.
Yes, I know it's a special effect. But what do you think that would be symbolic of if they're telling you about the Nelson Mandela effect?
Well, he is the particle traveling through the accelerator. Oh my God. I see where you're going on with this.
And it's clicking. All right. Now you get back to...
They have opened up a portal to a parallel universe. Right there.
Give me a second.
So they've been to the other side. This seems like they're claiming to have been to the other side.
Now, you get to the guy right here. Come on. That whole video is full of hints. It's hard to refute. I mean,
you can't prove to me that look, well, yeah, you can prove to me because that is the whole video is from, that's not a fake video.
Well, the you know, the CGI effects in the background and all that shit.
Yeah, I get that, but I'm saying that's legitimately from the people at CERN, though.
That's from those people that are laughing about the Mandela effect.
How do you know they're not laughing at the Mandela effect, having fun with people who, you get what I'm saying? Scientists do have a sense of humor.
Yeah. And if you were smart enough to rip a hole in dimensions or to send people to another planet, would you not get a joke from it at least once or twice?
I mean, I definitely get where you're coming from, and I'm on the same page. My mind is just blown right now, brother. I mean,
Are you gonna be all right, man?
this is like the people from CERN actually pretty well coming out and saying Mandela effect is real, and we have ripped a hole to a parallel universe.
Not only that, but sent somebody over.
Yeah, sent somebody over. Well, did they retrieve him back?
I think that we are the ones they sent over, the people that suffer the Mandela effect.
What I'm getting from the video is that basically, like, we figured it out. We have been able to open up a door to a parallel here at CERN, and we've sent somebody through. But what I'm not getting from it is, did that guy that came through come back?
We don't know. All I know is that half of my lifetime worth of memories
Has
is
changed.
inaccurate.
Well, I mean, I've got to be fair with you about the whole Fruit Loops thing, man, that we were talking about, and we were talking about spelling and grammar and how,
Yep.
proper presentation is important. Um, don't go spelling Fruit Loops Froot. No.
Here's one that will rock you to the core of your foundation, man. You know about the Bible ones that messed with you.
Yeah.
Wizard of Oz.
Oh, here's the thing about the Wizard of Oz. Even before the Mandela effect thing was popular, there was a bunch of conspiracy theories about that movie already.
Oh yeah, but a line has changed in it. One of the famous lines.
Really? Which line?
Toto, I don't think we're in Kansas anymore.
What she says now. Toto, I don't think we're in Arkansas anymore. I mean, what'd she change it to?
Toto, I don't feel like we're in Kansas anymore.
That is different.
So this fucking planet is more about feelings than facts. Critical thinking.
Hey! That gives me something to work on here with this. Have you noticed that in the last several years, people have been more about feelings than facts? Look at how crazy society's become. People are so eager and so angry to fight and warlike, and look at all the wars and
Yep.
I mean, let's think back to times when me and you were small. Let's say that when you were a little small child and your dad had to actually brandish a weapon to defend your family. When you were a little bitty child, your dad was probably hoping that he didn't have to kill somebody. But
Yep.
now, in this modern time, if somebody has to pull a gun, they're itching and aching for a reason to hurt somebody. Times and people and attitudes have changed a lot.
Yeah, and you don't get that overnight.
Well, I mean, if CERN is responsible for this shift from,
Then
it
you
seems,
would be able to see that much of a change that quickly.
yeah.
Yep. So, I mean, I'm just piling proof on here, D.
Hey, keep it coming, brother.
All right. Now,
That's legitimately blew my mind to have the people at CERN acknowledging the Mandela effect in that way and celebrating the Mandela effect. That definitely sends a message, without a doubt.
another one. Have you ever heard of the corpse flower?
Yeah, I have.
Well, to see a bloom from the corpse flower
Which only
is very
happens.
rare.
Yeah, they only bloom. What is it like? Is it 87 years or is it 100 years apart?
Yep, somewhere in there. I'm not
Mm-hmm.
for sure about the actual distance of time right now. I'm going to bring up a corpse flower.
But it's believed in more ancient and historical times when the corpse flower does bloom, it's a foreboding omen of some terrible event is about to occur.
Some apocalyptic event.
Yeah, yeah,
Yes. Or catastrophic event.
yeah.
Yeah. Now, oh, I can't use that, man. That's somebody's video. I'm looking for pictures, images. I just want to show these people what a corpse flower is.
Yeah, it's a weird looking
Uh,
little flower.
dude, it's giant.
But it's also strange looking.
Yep, yep.
Looks almost like something you would expect to see in a prehistoric setting.
Well, see, the actual name of it translates to giant penis. Or, yeah.
Well, it ain't no wonder I didn't like that flower.
Yeah. See?
Yep.
That big purple bastard right there. And
But
it has
I'm just saying, doesn't that look like something you would expect to see in some sort of prehistoric scenery?
yep. And inside of it, you
And I
can
mean,
see the
look
lady
at
right there beside of it.
yeah. From what I also understand, there's a couple things I'd like to say about this. Look at that one in the middle where there's the crowd standing outside it. Look at how gigantic that thing is. And
Yeah.
also, as I understand, they put off a scent that is considered foul. You don't really want to smell one,
It
and
smells like a corpse.
they're quite toxic.
Yeah. Yep, yep. You got all of that correct, brother.
Well, you know, I do my research, Holmes.
But yeah, every time CERN has fired up one of these flowers in some location has bloomed.
Hmm.
Now figure that one out. Okay, now I'm going to get back
Here's
to.
something I have to say. There's some sort of base instinct, base gut feeling that I have about all this. When CERN goes to, you know, altering the flow of the progression of events, I mean, I get where you're coming from with this, that, you know, doom and gloom and everything, but there's a certain amount of arrogance that also comes with that. Like, who has the technical right to alter and rewrite history? You know, even if you have the scientific power to do it, look at the way they're dancing in that video. Like, we done it, yeah, we at CERN done it. But when you
Yep,
have that kind of, who has the God-given right to alter time for everyone? That that should infuriate people, Holmes. Honestly.
yep. A lot of people are getting pissed about it. Okay, now I'm going to go over a couple of things that have changed that you probably didn't know about. You remember Captain Crunch?
Well, I do, but it's always been CAP''N.
Well, see, I remember the actual captain on the box.
I never ever did, Holmes.
I sure did, man. I remember actual captain. You
You
remember
know,
Kit Kat?
yeah,
Did Kit Kat have a dash between it?
it always had a dash between it.
Remember Coca Cola with the funny dash between it?
Yep.
You remember Yahoo with the dash between it?
I never liked that stuff. That's not really committed. Because look, I'll explain why I didn't like Yahoo. Okay. I was used to
Okay.
having, like, as a kid, I was used to having like chocolate milk, right?
Yeah.
Yahoo's missing some sort of a dairy taste to it. It tastes like water chocolate. I just
It's
never liked it.
artificial.
Yeah, I never liked that stuff. There's something just off about its taste.
Well, the dashes on all of these have been replaced with a punctuation mark. It's a comma, I believe, a comma.
Mm-hmm.
No, I don't think it's a comma. I'm not for sure. I can't remember my punctuations right now.
Hyphen.
Could be. I'm not for sure. You remember that Curade?
What?
Curade.
I No, I don't. I'm
It's
not.
a it's a generic brand of health supplies like band-aids and stuff like that.
No, I'm not familiar with the brand, brother. I'm not.
It used to be spelt CUR aid, AID.
Hmm.
Now it's spelt CURAD. That doesn't grammatically even make sense.
No, it doesn't.
All right.
See,
You remember Febreze with two E's?
yes.
It's gone now. You remember Walmart with the slash?
Yep.
It's the slash is gone now. You remember Gordon's Fisherman?
Well, yeah, of course, man. They make the most awesome fish sticks, man.
Yeah, it's no longer Gordon's, bro. It's Gortons. Gortons.
Huh? Aw. I remember. Look, I used to remember the commercials for that. It's Gordon's Fisherman. You know, I remember the commercial for that. Um, and there was a D in it.
I want you to do me a favor, man. Bring up screen sharing. I want you to go Google. I'm gonna show you one that's really gonna fuck with you.
Click.
It doesn't even make sense. The spelling doesn't make sense to me.
All right. What am I looking for, Holmes?
Do you remember OxyClean?
Yeah.
Type in OxyClean.
Oh, XI. Um, that is kind of weird
Yep.
because I seem to remember there was a Y in it
There was a Y.
into the Y. Because I mean, think about it.
Mandela stole it.
Well, that doesn't even make sense though, because look at the word oxygen. That's what it was based upon.
Yeah.
That,
Mandela stole the Y.
okay. Well, the fact of the matter is that whatever universe that CERN has collided us with, we're
Yeah.
fucking morons that can't spell.
You remember double stuff Oreos?
Don't touch my double stuffed Oreos. I love them fuckers.
Type in double stuff Oreos, man. You're gonna get a kick out of this one too. Look at the brand on the label there.
Uh-huh.
Just go right down right there. How do they spell stuff?
That ain't right, man. That's not even a word. Somebody needs to get a somebody needs to get a hold of somebody.
Yeah. Whoever is doing the programming, if we're holographic, is a fucking moron.
There's it's like what you were saying the other day. If the universe is holographic, there's definitely some sort of terrible glitch that CERN has caused. Why does shit like this even fly? What the hell is up with that?
Yeah. OxyClean double stuff with one fucking F.
Pretty soon when we're old men, we're gonna have our grandchildren actually.
Yeah.
We're gonna have to have our grandchildren shop for us because we're not gonna be able to read the crazy fucking spelling they put on shit anymore.
Yep, they're hibernate. Hell, have you read a text message from a 20-year-old?
No, I haven't, and I'll tell you why. They can't
She,
fucking spell. Everything's in shorthand and they can't fucking spell. No, I haven't. 20-year-old sends me a text message, they're gonna have to call me on the phone. And even when they call me on the phone, they better fucking speak properly or they're gonna get hung up on.
it's worse than Morse code, man. You
You
only
know,
get 3 letters out of a whole word on every word.
I'll tell you a fad that I don't miss at all, and I'm glad it's gone. I'm glad people have realized and recognized it as ignorant, and it's been phased out. Do you remember for a little while when the youngsters were trying to actually speak vocally, like "OMG, LOL"? Oh my God,
Oh,
I just wanted to slap a fucker for that
yes.
shit.
Yes. Between that and saggy pants, I just can't get along with the
You know
newest
what? The saggy
generation.
pants don't bother me so much because I can just choose not to look. But when somebody's speaking to me and they start abbreviating their words with letters, I just want to smack them.
It bothers me because when I go into Walmart and see literally a flock of ass cracks in my way everywhere.
Well, here's the thing. There's a dignified way to wear the lowrider pants and a non-dignified way. The people that actually are showing their ass crack, those are undecent people, and they need to be approached about that and told that they're undecent. But if you're wearing like some people that I've seen that are actually wearing for real traditional shorts underneath that, well, I mean that's whatever, man. I'm just saying there. You don't have to show fucking ass crack. If you're showing ass crack, if you're walking around in this world, okay, and you're showing your ass crack in public, you are a terrible person with no decency.
If you're walking around with your pants almost to your knees and you decide to be a thug that day, you're not
Oh,
outrunning the police, motherfucker.
it ain't even
You
about
can't
thugs.
outrun a guy with your pants around your damn knees.
It ain't even about thugs and gangbanging and shit like that. It's about human dress code and decency. Nobody
Yeah.
fucking wants to see your damn ass crack. You're fucking offending other people. Get some damn fucking decency, motherfucker.
But what I'm saying is, most of these people that wear their pants around their freaking knees, that do commit crimes, they are caught and put in prison
You know what?
because they cannot run.
I'm just saying they
It
ought to
is the
handle it.
stupidest fad ever.
They ought to handle it in the way that the country has always handled things. Where where we live out in the southern, parts of the United States, man. They ought to find these people that's fucking going around showing their damn hell ass cracks, and that ought to automatically be a 1 day jail sentence. Fuck that crazy
I
shit.
think it should be illegal too, man, because I don't want to see what brand of underwear you wear.
I'm just saying, if you don't want to fucking go to jail for a day, if you've got a job and a family to support, pull your fucking pants up.
That would fix it, man. But yeah, that's one of the fads I hate, man. I
Because
hate.
look, I'll tell you what, man. Here's what I don't understand. Look, I'll tell you what. That jail sentence for a day thing, that would fix the pulling the pants down thing. You don't want to go to fucking jail with your pants down around your ankles. I'm just fucking saying.
That's where it started, man. That was a signal that they were homosexual and they were down to fuck.
See,
that that's where it started from, and then they brought it out into the street as a fad, and
that's
now
so
you
fucking
got
crazy.
all these people running around with their pants down, signaling that they're homosexual and down to fuck, and then they get pissed off and start a fight with a homosexual when a homosexual actually hits on them. Yeah, it's whoever. If this is a holographic world, whoever is programming it is a freaking moron.
Well, look, I mean, I'll just tell you about some of this, man. Look, stuff goes to people's heads and they get the wrong ideas about things, man. And there was a kid, he was a pretty popular kid, man. He did well with the ladies when I was in high school. And, popularity can fucking drive people insane to the point, I'm just looking at this and I really, really want this. Is screen sharing working?
Yeah,
I want that.
man, we were supposed to stop this 20 like 20 minutes ago.
Oh, okay. So now I'm getting boring.
Oh no, you're not getting boring. Hell, I'll run another hour if you want. But
I'm good to go right now. But here's what I'm saying about popularity, man. You
okay,
know how popularity can go to people's heads and they can make some really poor choices.
yeah,
To make a statement, this very popular kid that when we were in high school, he comes to school with a pink bow clipped into his hair, like the kind of bow a girl would wear, a little fucking ribbon clipped into his hair. I believe that was the last day he went to school there. And I know that it sounds like something crazy happened to him. No, no, because you got to realize that the schools that I went to were Southern Kentucky schools. Popular or not, he was a motherfucking laughingstock after that. And
yep.
he did not return after that day. And you know what? If you go to school as a male and you decide to wear a girl's pink ribbon bow in your hair, you deserve to fucking be laughed at for your fucking ignorance.
The way I see it, man, is it is abnormal. So you are going to catch shit. But you
Well,
do have the freedom to do it if you want to. Just expect to catch shit if you're not going to go with the norm of society.
he tried to make a fashion statement. He thought that I'm so popular, I can get away with anything. This will make a statement. The girls will be all over this shit. Even the girls was like, "What the fuck, man? That is a
Well,
pink ribbon."
hell, that's the way Bruce Jenner was, which I'm not going to touch that topic with a 10
No,
foot
man,
pole.
I ain't even messing with that topic, man.
Yeah, but that's basically the same damn thing. He's switching back to a
I'm
male
I'm
now.
going I'm going with the South Park methodology on that shit.
Yeah.
Caitlyn Jenner is stunning and brave, like a butterfly flapping against the wind.
Butterflies are pretty at least, man. Come on.
Hey, dude, just between me and you and fairness and truth, dude made a better looking woman than he did a man. I mean, just to be fair. I mean, if you're going to be complete fair
Well,
about shit, you know.
to be complete fair and to be complete honest, Yes, he did make a better looking woman
I
than a
mean, I'm
man.
just saying, I'm just being truthful. That's how
Yeah,
people know that we're not just full of shit, man. I'm gonna be
yeah,
truthful about it.
yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. But his transformation with, as what was it, Samus called it, bunny years,
Yeah,
or air quotation, his transformation to a female was nowhere near perfect. The
no.
jawbone was too big, which gave it away and made him
Well,
look out of
I mean,
place.
let's be fair. Let's be fair though. I mean, you're sitting there and you're judging certain things, and which is fine, right?
I'm
I'm
not
just saying
judging. I'm just saying that
well,
this
I mean,
is that.
I'm not saying like this hardcore,
Yeah.
ancient Salem, like thou hast cast the judgment. No, I'm saying like, you're just your opinion on facial structure. Well, I
Yeah.
mean, what I'm saying is some actual legit natural born women have facial structures like that.
Oh, some natural legit born females
Yeah,
biologically do
yeah,
look like males if you shave their hair.
yeah,
Yeah. But the thing is, when you're going for a transformation, shave down the jawbone and look like a female. The
yeah,
majority of
yeah.
female. Now, that is the only thing that really bugged me because I could see the facial structure of a man, but the body of a female,
Well, I mean,
you know?
let's be realistic for a second. If you want to really dig deep for a second into psychological culture, I think the perceptions of what people consider beautiful are fucking whacked out crazy. Anyway, look at what some of these supermodels have to do to maintain their image, and look at what happens to some of these movie stars. It's like, oh, Halle Berry, you've hit 40 years old, and you can see a little bitty wrinkle in your face. You're no longer, you're not going to get all these roles anymore. Your acting career is toward its end, and look at some of these supermodels, man. They starve themselves to fucking death trying to stay skinny. Nah, some of these perceptions of what's beautiful have warped all of society to a dangerous point.
Oh, don't tell me you're one of the fat applaudance people.
No, dude, I'm not applauding people for sitting down and just eating. I'm not a fat shamer and I'm not a fat applauder. I find attractive what I find attractive. But when you have to go to extremities on either side to feel comfortable, when you have to nearly starve yourself to the point where you don't eat,
It
what
becomes sickly.
what is most beautiful in this world is naturalism. You know,
Yeah.
natural. Don't look fake like you just got out of plastic surgery. The most beautiful thing in the world is nature.
Yes, I agree with that 100%. The models with no asses, no tits, all ribs, they look fucking disgusting. They look like they have AIDS or something
Well,
and are
let me
just
ask you
withering
this. Let me
away.
ask you this. Let me give you an example, and I think I've got a great example for this. Um, you've got an actress that has skinnied herself down to the point to where she looks sickly. What's
Yep.
the difference between this actress who has skinnied herself down to the point that she looks sickly and say your average common meth hoe? And yes, while we're on the internet and people are listening, that is my feelings about methamphetamine. You are a worthless individual as long as you use methamphetamine. It's the worst drug on planet
I'm
Earth.
putting this one up, so whatever you say stays, brother.
Dude, I do not have good opinions on methamphetamine or people who use methamphetamine. Put that shit
Okay.
up there.
I
Let the
got you.
world fucking
Got
know. You know,
you. Got you.
meth is for fucking losers, and if you
Yes.
use it, you're wasting your life and you're wasting your family's lives, because and if you use meth, you don't deserve your family. Okay.
Well, most people who do such substances don't have family anyway because they're so whacked out they can't even get along with their family.
I'm just saying, look, you know that's the worst drug that I've seen come into our nation since fucking cocaine back in the 80s. Or look, meth destroys people's lives. Okay. It's a terrible drug to do. um
Mhm.
it takes away any kind of common sense that someone has. It's horrible. I don't want to just go on and on about how horrible people are that use it, because there's different degrees of people out there that use it. It's never good to ever use it any, right? But
Yep.
you have to realize right now, there's some people out there that's like, oh my God, I smoked some 2 years ago. SP thinks I'm trash. No, okay, no, okay. The worst kind of trash out there is some kind of person who has given up
It's a
everything in
junkie.
his life. Yeah, a junkie of that stuff. It
Yeah.
ruins lives. It does damage to people. It's
Yep.
harmful.
Hell, a junkie on anything is just
You're right. You're
horrible.
right. You're right.
It doesn't matter if it's alcoholism or whatever, or heroin or cocaine, whatever, man. Junkies make life unbearable for the people who have enough common decency and morality to know moderation is
Yeah.
moderation. Try
Yeah.
something one time and then put it the fuck down.
I'm just saying, like, look, um, it's not just social pressure, or I've lived, I've lived a long life, man. I've seen people
Yeah.
completely ruin their lives on meth. I've seen when I was in my college years, I seen women that you would give anything, like, wow, I would settle down and have a life with that woman, go out and sell their bodies, man, for a bag of meth, man, become legitimate meth whores, you know.
I've seen the
No,
same thing,
no,
bro.
no, that's horrible. People need to know, you know, these are my thoughts, and it seems very hateful. It seems very hateful and harmful, but I've seen meth harm a lot of people. I believe that, honestly, when they catch someone manufacturing methamphetamine, the
Yeah.
immediate response should be instant death penalty. Like, no court, no trial. You were caught manufacturing meth, hole right between their eyes. That's what I
Yep.
feel.
Yep. Shit, man. I believe they should bring back the death penalty for many things,
You're right about that.
many different things, not just that, many different things.
I mean, yeah, there's a lot of terrible things in the world. I mean, you know,
Yeah.
uh, why are we just picking on that?
I'm not going to go into all of them because I wanted this to be a science video, man.
It originally was.
Yeah. But yeah, man. I mean, shit. Did I really blow your mind?
With that CERN stuff, yeah, to
Yeah.
actually see the people, the members of CERN, um, I'm sure that I've spoken to one or two of those individuals on those forums that I go to. To actually see the members of CERN who I've spoken to for a couple of years now, off and on through these forums, who usually and generally to me, kind of laugh and snicker at the Mandela effect things. Like, no, we're slamming particles together to try to understand the Higgs boson and the Higgs fields, what we're really doing here. To
Yeah.
see them actually celebrating the Mandela effect in such a way, it blew my mind, because I'm sitting here and I'm thinking, is this a joke video? Are they picking fun at people? What the hell,
Well, let me offer you a theory that I just popped off in my brain. Uh, it hit me like dynamite, man. Okay. Now they say that they're trying to find the glue of the universe.
Well, if you want to talk about the glue of the universe, you want to get into dark matter.
Well, they're trying to find what holds everything together, the glue of the universe, correct?
Um,
In
I
one
don't.
of their fields.
Yeah, I mean, that's not the whole point of CERN. That's like
Well,
saying, yeah, but I get where you're coming from. That's one of their little interests. But, that's when you get into quantum theory and you enter something. Have you heard of something called subatomic gravity?
not really, but yeah,
All
get
right. All
get it
right.
over with so I can continue.
Subatomic gravity is the point in which what binds the electrons to the protons of an atom.
I thought
You
that
know,
was electromagnetic fields, man.
it's not just electromagnetic fields, because you've got to look. The electrons are where the electricity is coming from.
Yeah.
Okay, so
Okay.
what binds? Um, there's this subatomic form of gravity that actually binds the protons and the electrons together, and it is a very strong force. When you split an atom, what does that atom want to do? It wants more than anything to come
To
back
come back.
together.
Yeah.
Exactly. That is subatomic gravity at work.
Uh, but yeah, hell, that explains a lot of shit, like how bones can heal and etc.
Oh, people never listen to old SP. What can I say?
But yeah, I done forgot where I was going completely.
Well, hell, we've carried this on for quite a while, brother.
Yeah.
There's always room for a third one.
Um, what was I on about before you brought up the gravity?
We were talking about CERN
Yeah, but there was
and
some.
dark matter, the glue that holds the universe together.
Yeah, the glue that holds the universe together. All right. Okay. Say they did find this glue.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Say they decided to turn it from a solid into a liquid, right? To study it. Now, say they allow it to re-solidify.
All right,
Now,
here's the
this is
thing.
just metaphorical.
Well, metaphorically, you have to look at the force that binds the universe together may not be a physical force.
Metaphorically, I'm looking at it as glue.
Yeah,
Okay. Now, glue, if you
but
take and dissolve glue and then re-solidify glue, it does not go back to the exact bonds and shape and form as what it was when you dissolved it with the solvent.
okay, two things that I want to say. First off, if you take Jello and put it in a microwave, it does go back to being a liquid. Okay,
Or you can switch it around your teeth.
right? Okay. Now, other than that, metaphorically, when we're talking physics and particle physics, the glue that does bind the universe together is actually considered to be dark matter. What you're actually referring to is another subject entirely called subatomic gravity. Now,
Mhm.
the force of subatomic gravity that binds the electrons to the proton of an atom uh, may, in fact, now hear me out on this.
Mhm.
We don't fully understand um, the atom or why it does what it does because of Einstein's spooky effect. But remember how we were talking about how when an atom is split, the proton from the electron, you interact with one, the other will formation, correct?
I don't know if it's because your net's fluctuating or because my computer's getting hot due to having everything off to kill background noise, but you're roboting on me, bro.
It would have to be on my side. Um, Brother, roboting right at the moment.
Yeah.
All right, I'm going to have to go out of the room and come back in because this is very important to say, and I'll be right back. Keep the room hot. You're not roboting. It's got to be on my side.
Okay, okay. Or
All
it
right,
could be on mine, just where I'm receiving you.
all right. I'll be right
Um,
back.
okay. Yeah, guys, but hear me out metaphorically. If instead of nails in a house
All
you
right,
have
do I
glue,
sound better?
yeah,
All right. So here's what I'd like to say. What happens when you do split an atom? When you separate the proton from the
still
electron, that's called
roboting.
splitting the atom. It could be both of us, homie. It could be both of us at this juncture.
Yeah, man. When you split an atom, you get a chain reaction, a subatomic chain reaction.
What you're speaking of right there is called critical mass. You
Yeah,
have to realize when it's a single atom that you split, it's not chained to anything. You know,
it's
it,
chained to itself. It's chained to its nuclei. It's changed to your proton, your neutron, your electron.
you have to realize the very definition of what a chain reaction is. A chain reaction is
It affects more than one object.
when you have multiple atoms, right? When you have multiple atoms and you enter a state called critical mass, that's a chain reaction. Nuclear fission and fusion is a chain reaction.
Yeah. Well,
Okay. Well, when you separate an atom, you get radiation, right?
yeah. It's a
Okay.
byproduct.
Yeah. Well, I don't think that the radiation from an atom is the byproduct at all. I don't think it's a byproduct at all. I think the protons or the electron is bound to the proton via this radiation, and I believe that it's contained because the atom is not split. But when you split the atom, it stretches out this wave, and this wave produces this radiation.
It breaks the gravitational bonds.
I don't think anything is broken when you. That's the whole point. I think that it's like a invisible rubber band, and you can stretch it as far as you want, but the more you stretch it, the more radiation it's going to produce.
Well, see, if you break the gravitational bonds within the gravity of itself, it could be holding more than just the atom
But you see,
to complete the whole thing.
that's the thing about Einstein's spooky effect, man.
Yeah.
You cannot break the gravitational bonds between a proton and its electrons. You could hold on to the proton and put the electrons in a rocket ship and fly it to the end of the universe. And if you let both of them go at the at near the speed of light, they're going to collide toward one another.
Huh. Well, if that's true, then how in the hell does direct current energy even work?
What do you mean?
Electricity, man. It's used by harnessing electrons from atoms.
Electricity is used by harnessing electrons from atoms.
That's what creates electricity, yeah. Is electrons themselves.
Well, you do this. You have a give me just a second. In a battery, you have two separators, something like zinc or copper, and it causes the electrons to flow to one side, and you're separated through the polar opposite. I'm half falling asleep.
Yeah.
A cathode and a diode. A cathode and a diode. That was the words I was looking for.
Yeah.
Still,
do you want to cut it, man? Because we are about half out of it. We've been up all night.
Yeah, man. I'm like so asleep. I'm barely making sense. I was actually searching for the words for a cathode and a diode. That's what separates, the electrons. But you have to realize, homie, you're not splitting an atom to make electricity, Holmes.
No, you're ripping the electrons from the atom.
No, you're taking the whole atom and you're harnessing the power from that one non-split atom, right?
I thought you was taking the electrons away from the atom to.
No, you're not taking the electrons. You're not taking the electrons away from the atom. You're using the cathode and the diode, and you're causing a polarity split between a group of atoms. One side sides with negative. Yeah, but you have to realize you're causing a polarity split between a group of atoms, right?
Yeah.
None of those atoms within a battery are being split whatsoever. It's just causing one side to South Pole and the other side to North Pole.
Yes, I'm not saying that they split the atom itself. I'm saying that they rip the electrons through polarity shifts over to one side to use the electrons as a steady current.
The electrons never leave the atom, though, Holmes, is what I'm trying to say. The atom itself, the atom itself travels up that wire.
So the whole atom with the electron.
Yes.
Huh.
Why do you
thought it was just the electron?
Why do you think you get fucking corrosion on the outside of a battery?
Oxidization.
That's not necessarily the whole case. Because if you leave a battery sitting there, for how long? How long does it take for the corrosion to build up on a battery that's not being used? They don't corrode. You have to have electrical current there to get that corrosion.
Yeah, but the electrical current damages the nickel plating on the actual battery cables in the battery junction.
Only because the current's traveling. It's a byproduct of the atoms traveling through that wire.
Yeah, and when it damages the nickel plating, then oxidization can take effect to create corrosion.
The corrosion is not brought about by oxidization, Holmes. It's brought about by the electrical current going through the cathode.
I thought it was oxidization within the weak points of the nickel.
My God, you're not going to stop till I teach you everything about science, are you?
Mm-mm. I shall never stop. I am a robot.
But what actually happens, brother, is You've got basically like for instance, let me give you an example. Are we roboting right now, by the way? Because I'd really like for this part to be clear.
You are roboting a little.
Yeesh. All right. For instance, let's say that let's just use a magical juice. You know, you could use vodka. Vodka's got a lot of charge to it, right?
Vodka!
Right. Okay. Now a cathode and a diode. Actually, something like a copper rod and a nickel rod would work. Even a nickel and a penny would work. You put both of these into this glass of vodka, that gives the atoms within the vodka a side to pole on. You will have a positive and a negative output for the cathode and the diode, right?
Yeah. Are you there? And I think we have lost SP.
Are you there, homie?
Yeah, man.
I don't know how long my net died, but it must have been me. Am I roboting now?
Not like you was now.
All right, where did I get to? Was I talking about the potato yet when I died?
No, man. Can I use restroom right quick, bro?
Well, sure. I mean, I'll just try to explain to these people, the whole battery concept while you do that.
Give them hell.
All right. All right. So with a battery, I was trying to explain how a battery works. You need a cathode and a diode, and usually this is why batteries have acid, because acid has a lot of highly charged atoms within it. Now, when you have a cathode and a diode, that causes atoms to line up, right? You'll have some that line up north and some that line up south. And this is why you have a negative and a positive on a battery. And he was talking about the corrosion on a battery and why this occurs. This is a byproduct of the electrical transference. He was talking like oxidization. If a battery could corrode by simple oxidization, you would be able to just leave a battery sitting out uninterrupted and it would corrode just sitting there, but that doesn't happen. Batteries only corrode when they have electrical transference that occurs. Brother Tate's understanding of electricity has a little bit left to be desired, but hell, it's way on up there. My understanding of electricity, college level physics, man. I am sorry. We've been up for a straight 24 hours discussing things, and minds begin to slip as you're slipping off into La La Land. But we were back into the atoms and how splitting the atom is not the same as an electrical battery when you're just having atoms to line up to a north and south pole and using it to power it that way. When you actually split an atom, okay, are you there, Brother Tate?
Yes, I feel so much better.
I've already explained to him the difference between a battery and separating the north and the south pole atoms. Now I'm going back into actually how splitting an atom creates energy.
Oh, okay. Well, let me reiterate for just a second.
Okay.
The way that I thought that a battery functioned was you take nickel or zinc and zinc, you mix them together, and they create an alkaline effect. The alkaline within the battery.
No. See, now you're just talking particularly about alkaline batteries, right? Because you got to realize before alkaline was an issue, there were batteries way before that, Holmes.
Well, you got to consider. You go back to the Egyptians with the copper pots and all.
Hell, if you go back to 1977, homie.
We're before 77, bro. But yeah.
But here's the thing. I've already went over the battery thing 2 or 3 times. You've got what causes it to happen is you've got all this juice, which is the acid. Well, the cathode and the diode causes the atoms to align. You've got a positive and a negative. That's why on a battery you've got a positive and negative. This is why oxidization doesn't occur on a battery that's setting out just by itself. Oxidization only occurs on batteries you've left in electronics for far too long, and you come back and they've got that crud You know, that's because there was still electrical transference occurring. That's because on your car, when your car's hooked to, there's electrical transference occurring even when it's turned off. And here's why. When you go to turn your car on, your clock is still set, you know, your clock is keeping time. There's still a small amount of current going through that battery, Holmes.
Mm.
Okay. Now, the
Oh,
difference is is when you split an atom, specifically a uranium atom, when you split an atom, radiation. This is where the energy that we use, okay,
yeah.
in nuclear plants comes from. You split the atom, radiation. This radiation is incredibly hot and very volatile.
Oh yeah, you
Will
need
take
coolant
that
rod.
heat. Yeah, yeah, you do. That's why they've got those coolant rods and everything. You know,
Yeah.
what do they call those rods? They're particularly made out of. It's just where I'm so sleepy. Anyway,
I think they're uranium, ain't they?
no. The uranium atom is what split. No,
Oh, okay.
I want to say the rods are carbon or boron.
Uh,
Uh,
carbine is what I think I remember.
you could be right. Now they take the anyhow. The coolant rods are not what's important. What's important is the fission process here. When you separate the atom, you get all of this dangerous radiation, heat, and thermal energy because this atom has been split. Well, they
Yeah, you
send
are a robot,
yeah
bro.
they am I still roboting?
About every 3 words, you was a robot. I think when you speak fast, your packets can't keep up with your voice.
It could even be my upload speed, man. It seems as it's done
Yeah,
that for the last several days.
yeah, your
Um,
packets on your upload can't keep up with your voice when you speak faster.
what's funny is I'm supposed to have 5 megs upload speed. I should be able to talk as fast as I want, you know. But oh
Yeah,
well.
you should be able to. I mean, hell, they're tiny
Yeah,
little.
I mean, I'm just saying 5 megs a second upload, man. I mean, I should be able to just jam it like Eminem, you know.
Yeah,
Um,
you'd be able to do it like Buster Rhymes.
yeah, you know. But I mean, there's no telling what's going on. But here's the thing about that. You know, so basically what they do is they separate this atom. They can set free energy technically to a certain point. It is, but it isn't. Um, at the atom, you get all this dangerous thermal radiation, particularly. You get dangerous radiation from separating any atom. Are you still there, homie?
Yeah,
Okay, it just got so quiet I couldn't tell.
I,
When you
I was trying to make out every other word, man.
okay, am I roboting that bad? Because people won't be able to understand this if that's the case.
Yeah, see, I didn't even get case on that. I just got K-A-E-A-Z.
Oh, screw all that, homie. It's time to call this one quits if it's roboting that bad because people aren't going to be able to watch this far into it.
Yeah, yeah,
All right, homie. We'll pick back up on our next science talk with we know radiation and nuclear fission then.
yeah. I also want to get into antimatter and negative energy, as I like to call it, because, well, at current point, dark energy is taken.
Well, all of those are my areas. I mean, you're delving into scientific areas that I've studied for years. Antimatter specifically, dark energy specifically, dark matter specifically, nuclear fission and fusion specifically. Those are all areas I'm well versed in, Holmes.
Oh yeah, I want to pick up on that on the next one, bro, and I guess we'll do that tomorrow if we're awake at the same time.
Well, we should be. We should be.
I mean, shit, I ain't gonna lie. As soon as I quit this, I'm gonna put on some Netflix and pass out.
I want to thank everybody for joining us. We really appreciate you hanging out and listening to us, chat about the sciences. Um, I wish I hadn't been having the robot problems with the uploads tonight. I'm not sure what's wrong. Uh, take us out, brother Tate.
All right. Um, yeah, this has been Take Plays. So far, we've covered transgenders, batteries, Hitler, Mandela effect, CERN. Basically, you name it, man, we got it. But
And my harsh opinions of drug meth users, I really truly do possess harsh opinions of people that abuse hardcore drugs. Drugs destroy the mind. The mind is a very important thing.
Yep.
Destroy your mind, you know. And
Although I do believe it is a 15-watt potato clock, it is a very essential freaking potato clock that you need to get through life.
absolutely.
Yeah. But yeah, man. Do you have a hook, or do you have anything coming up that you want to tell the people?
I do have a video that I'm kind of working on. I've been doing a whole lot of research and a whole lot of study, and one of the things that always bothered me, am I coming through clear enough to at least deliver this?
You were until you said this.
Okay, okay. Maybe if I talk lower and don't blast the mic. I've been working on a video because I feel that people can use science to give them hope. And you'll see some scientists, say, well, there is no such thing as an afterlife. When humans die, they're just gone. I
Yeah,
don't
that's
buy that. I
another.
don't believe that. I do believe that there is an after.
Yeah. Okie dokie, I guess Steve just dropped that again. What he is trying to relay is he will be coming out with a video about the possibility of the afterlife to give people hope. And he's going to use science to prove or to state a theory of his that there is a afterlife. Now, when he releases this video, I do not know. He's told me about it, but I can't tell you guys because I already know the theory behind what he's using. But I cannot tell you guys for a couple of reasons. Number one, he may present it in a different way with different facts. Number two, I do not want to take anything from SP. So, um, yeah, SP man, I did your hook for you, man. Are you there? I've seen you pop in. Hello, housekeeping. I clean now. No. Okay. Well, yeah, guys, I'm gonna end it at this point. Poor SP, he's having troubles with his net. Hey, he popped back. Do, 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 do. Hey, you little bastard, quit chewing on my drawstring. Oh shit, there's two SPs now. Can either one of them speak? Alrighty, guys, I'm gonna end this, man, because it's just a shit show on poor SP's side. Yeah, please check out SP's channel when this goes up on my YouTube. I will put a link in for his channel. Please check out his next video. Yeah, I mean, using science to prove that, or to state that there may be an afterlife. That's, I mean, come on, guys. It's intriguing at the very least.
I'm here. I'm here. Had to do a complete browser refresh, Holmes. I bet I'm not roboting or anything right now.
No, not at the current moment. I told him about what you told me that you said the next video would be on. I didn't go into specifics.
Oh, well, yeah. Here's the thing. I don't know exactly when my browser crashed on me because I was busy explaining that. I feel that there are some scientists in the world that simply because they lack the evidence to prove that they'll tell you what, no, there's no afterlife. This is it, buddy. Um, I feel that science can give people hope, and science can be a power of great understanding, and it can deliver you a light in the darkness. If you think about it, science has always done that. It's gave us light in the darkness.
He
I've
gave
been
us
doing a lot of
control
studying.
over fire.
Yeah, exactly. I've been doing a lot of studying, and I believe I have some very valid scientific theories that support that there very well could be a continuation of consciousness after we pass from this life. And I will be doing a video about that very soon. And I would really like it if people would stop by and check in on that. Maybe you'll drop a link for me.
Yes, sir. I'm going to drop a link to your channel. That way they can come and check you out. I was pandering to the audience to check out your next video. I told them I didn't know when you would drop it, and I'm not going to state the science behind it because, number one, you may present it differently, and number two, I don't want to take anything away from you. You know?
Yeah. I mean, it's cool. We can discuss a little bit of that here if you want to. I really would like to draw the people in. Let's go ahead and, here's just a thought. Yeah, here's just a thought to that, because I'm still going to do the video, and I hope people come and see it. Here's the thing, in science that supports.
Bad, bro.
All right. Well, we'll just hold off on that. Close us out, brother, and I will have Tate, put up a link when I do that video. Please come by and have a look.
Yes, son. I will share the hell out of it, man, because, dude, I'm all for science giving people hope.
Well, I really do believe that I have some very valid scientific basis that support that our consciousness does, in fact, continue on. I can't say specifically where, but I honestly don't feel that our consciousness just stops, and I've got some scientific theory and principle to back that up, brother.
Okay, bro. But, yeah, I'm going to stop this here. I'll see you guys next time. This has been Tate Plays and SP. We both wish you...
We wish you the best. We wish you hope. And it was nice having you here. Thanks for stopping by.
Long live and prosper, my friends.
Indeed.